Hello and welcome to the first of our Workflow Wednesday sessions. This is a new series that I'm doing for 2025 and I am very excited about it. So if you are joining me on YouTube or on Facebook, then do let me know in the comments and let me know if you have any questions. I do have a slide deck for us to keep me on track and also a Google document, and we're going to be working through those as we look at this week's workflow automation, and it is designed to help you get all kinds of inspiration for what can be automated in your business this year without feeling overwhelmed by all of the potential that you have when it comes to AI and automation in general. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to spend a little bit of time over in Canva, and then we're going to have a cheeky little look at some different ways that you can set up an AI assistant or a conversation in ChatGPT to help you with all the good stuff when it comes to all things business planning. So let me share my screen and then we'll get stuck in. And if you have any questions or anything like that, as with all of my lives, do feel free to ask any questions in the comments and I am more than happy to answer them during our Q&A session at the end. So we have got a little slide deck here to give us some visuals. And then we're going to dive over into here we go. So should be able to see my slides, and we're looking at 2025 project management and business planning for this one. So as I said, it's the first Workflow Wednesday, and you might be asking, what is a Workflow Wednesday, Maneksha? And the Workflow Wednesday concept is that it's bite-sized, actionable and automated workflows that are designed for busy online business owners and will give you practical steps or flowcharts or tools that help you streamline your business and get back to doing what you do best. So it's automation inspiration, if you will. They are going to be succinct and around 20 minutes each week, looking at different areas. So if you want to vote for upcoming topics or things that you're interested in automating in your business, there is a link to a Google form in the description of the YouTube video. And the whole point is that it takes you from pulling your hair out and feeling completely frustrated by how much time it's taking you to do something or how confusing or overwhelming tech feels, to feeling smug and confident and frankly unbearable to be around. So when we are looking at all things workflow automation, we really want you to be feeling in your best zone of genius self when it comes to your business, and just feeling like this is really actionable and possible for you to implement. So if you're new here, I am Maneksha. I am a professional nerd. I'm an AI and marketing specialist, and I built Marketing Magic, which is an AI-powered business growth tool and helps lots and lots of small business owners around the world unsubscribe from overwhelm and get their marketing done in minutes. So today we are going to be looking at how to use AI, specifically how to use AI for project management and business planning. So little applause doodles there to get us in the mood, and we are now going to do Google Doc and screen share time. So there is a little template prompt here that we are going to be working from. And this is going to help us set the scene and get context set up in our AI for this particular project. So if we look at the starting prompt, let me move it all down to the, so it's on one page. This is available over in my AI free source library. So if you have access to that, you'll be able to head over and get this once we've wrapped up here. And if you are doing anything with AI, we need to remember that context is what gives us the really good quality results and stops us from getting generic slop that is, homogenous and pretty predictable. So this is going to help us to create a space that we can go back to time and again throughout 2025 and really hone in on the goals and the projects that are moving us towards the place that we want our businesses to be in the long run. So this is the sort of context piece. And then in terms of the prompt, anything that is in yellow, you want to replace it with your own business details. So I'm going to talk you through the sections, and then we'll create a fake version to use, and I'll show you how to do that, and that'll be a little AI hack for you as well. But context, we've got different sections that have information about your business, and we are asking the AI to act as a strategic business planning and project management support for your 2025 goals. And the whole idea is that it is going to help with actionable plans and timelines. So the first thing that you want to add in is a summary about your business. So what is your business? What do you do? Who do you work with? It can be relatively straightforward and simple information, but you want to make sure that the way that your business makes money. So are you a service-based model? Do you sell physical products? Do you sell digital products or courses? You do want to make sure that that information is available for the AI to understand. So business overview is really that elevator statement that you might have. I help so-and-so do this by this. But we're going to do that. If you are using ChatGPT, then you can put your website's URL in here, and I would put your homepage URL, maybe your about page URL into this business overview, as well as a summary about what your business does. Then you will want to put a summary of your business goals for 2025 into this section. So this is what you're working towards this year and what your key focus is and the things are that you want to achieve. The next section that I would recommend putting in here is your key dates for 2025. So anything where you know that you have a marketing campaign or launch planned, any time off that you've got, anything that is a deadline or milestone that you're working towards that is already in your calendar or that you know about. It is really important for you to put your time off as the business owner into your key dates, as taking that time out is going to help you be much more productive in the long run. So if you have that already penciled into your diary, then do add those in here as well. If you're a parent and you work around school holidays, you might want to put the school holidays in as times that you're not as available to work, where you're on reduced hours, for instance. This is a really helpful thing to do because the AI will work based on your available resources, and it will give you recommendations for projects and timeframes that are based around your available hours. So if you limit the amount of hours, the AI is going to help you be more creative about the productivity and the impact that those hours have for your business. Then we want to have a little summary of your products and services, anything that you sell in your business. You can just put a little summary in there in terms of the product title, what it is, how much it is. It doesn't need to be a lot of information, but you do want to have a summary of some of the top things that you're selling here. Tech stack is any of the software that you're using. So for instance, your website provider, your email provider, anything that you're using for things like automation and so on and so forth. And this is a really helpful thing to have in place because when you are creating project plans, lots of the work that we do when we're running online businesses is to do with integrations and making sure that we have everything set up in a timely way. Your availability, so this is going to be your personal schedule, your preferred working hours, any times that you're available for meetings, and any personal time blocks that you have where you're not available, but you do want to, again, be very boundaried around how you communicate this in this context. So you might say, actually, sometimes I work in the evenings. You wouldn't put that in this section. You would just be quite boundaried around, I work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday mornings. And if you happen to do work outside of those times, then that's great. But this is a tool that is going to work best if you have very clear dates that you're available in terms of your key dates and those focuses, and then if your availability is structured as well. So it's really helpful for building in routine and working within regular parameters. And then if you have any team members, whether it's a virtual assistant or you have maybe got an agency who are running your Facebook ads for you, and they're not technically team or employers, but they are people who are regularly doing work for or in your business, then I would add information about them here as well. So you might have virtual assistant working 6 hours a week, you might have an agency running your Facebook ads, and you might work with a business coach twice a month. So you want to put in any people-based resources that your business is using in this section. And then once you've got that information contained in this starting prompt, you can start a conversation with ChatGPT, or you can set this up in its own AI assistant using the OpenAI platform.openai.com AI assistants tab. So we're going to look at both of those options now and how to do it. I do have an ideas log process to show you as well, but I think I might do that as a future workflow Wednesday, just in the interest of time, because by the time I have created a sample prompt here and then we've set that up as an AI assistant as well, we're definitely going to be hitting that 20-minute mark. So the ideas log is something that I'll maybe save for next week, but we'll see how we get on. So we're going to copy and paste this prompt, and we're going to head over to ChatGPT, and we're going to say below is a sample prompt for using with ChatGPT. Create a fictional small business and fill in the relevant square brackets with data, with sample data or information. And then we are going to hit send, and this is thinking about it. So this is actually the most recent OpenAI model, so it populates slightly differently than the ChatGPT conversations that you might have seen up until this point, and we are going to see how it does as far as creating some sample data for us is concerned. So this is Bloom and Bean Cafe, so business goals, and we've got key dates coming up here as well. And this is great because I am a sucker for sticking with online business options, but this is a really good option for your, for physical businesses that also are selling online here as well. So we're just going to let it populate. There'll be a little bit of dead air for a minute while we do this. And then I am going to now copy and paste this, and I'm going to pop it into the document here so we can see an example prompt. And I'm going to just give that a heading so that when you go and check this out, you can see it. So that is, we'll just paste it that way. There we go. So that is horribly formatted, absolutely horribly formatted, but I'll go back to it. So we've got this, and we are now going to start a new conversation, and we are going to go in here and just make sure, I'm just going to make sure that we've got some heading markers for this. Let's go back here. I'm going to talk you through this because the setup of this is important, because it is going to provide the context for the entire piece. So what we're going to do is reformat this in real time, and then we are going to be able to see it as we will be setting them up for you. Okay. That is everything. So context is the starting point, and the hashtag is markdown formatting, and it is giving you a heading 1. So what we're going to do now is paste this in here, and then we are just going to send it, and this is going to start a conversation. So this is going to chart some strategic goals according to this and a roadmap. So it's already getting started with planning out some different things for you to reach your goals when you start that conversation. But this is going to give you a unique URL, and this is something that you want to bookmark. And if we click the bookmark, we can put our 2025 project assistant. Let's put business and project assistant there. So you can bookmark this specific conversation and then come back to it time and again throughout the year as you are working on different projects and you've got this context already built up. So whether it is something completely new that you're wanting to run past, alter a plan based on the fact that I'm launching this new thing, or amend the plan so that I have more time off with my children. There's all kinds of different things where you might decide as you're going through the year that you want to change things up a little bit. And so having the ability to go back to the conversation is going to significantly reduce the amount of time you're spending starting new conversations and kind of updating the prompt and having to start from scratch. So this has given us, with no other prompting apart from just putting that sample prompt in, some specific actions that we can take to reach this goal. So the first goal is increasing year-over-year revenue by 30%. So in Q1, we want to review pricing. We want to look at upselling and cross-selling for the baristas and cashiers. We want to look at customer loyalty programs and community events and partnerships. So it's giving specific tasks and projects that can be worked on to help with this goal of increasing revenue. All of these things are going to be very distinctively driven by reaching that revenue goal. And then introducing a monthly coffee subscription box, pre-launching, sourcing and packaging, marketing and website update, launch and post-launch. It's giving the specific actions that would be needed by that. And you can kind of get the gist of this. So I'll put the conversation link into the document and you can kind of see the real life example of that. But when we're thinking through anything to do with project planning and strategic development, we are wanting to be aware that the information we're giving to AI is going to determine the information we get out of AI. So there might be things that come up for you in your year that you had not planned or considered that AI couldn't have predicted either, because based on the information that you've given it, it's giving you a roadmap to reach the goals for the business information as you have provided it. If you add context or change context, the recommendations it gives you will be different because it is a predictive model. So it's going to predict what should happen based on the information that you give it. So sometimes it can give us good ideas that we might not have thought of yet, but they are always going to be directly connected to the information that we're putting into it. And that is why if you're thinking about pivoting your business or changing things substantially, it's not always a helpful thing to be working within the recommendations that something like GPT gives you for future projects, because it can't necessarily give you predictions or a strategic plan for something completely different to the context that you've already provided it with. So that's just something to bear in mind there as well. Now, the other way of setting this up is as an AI assistant, and this is in platform.openai.com. So the benefit of this is that it is more private and you have your data is excluded from future language models and training future models in the GPT piece, but it doesn't connect to the internet. It doesn't have web browsing unless you add it as a function, which is a bit more complicated, and we're definitely not going to be covering that today. So what I'm going to do is take that same prompt that we've used here, and I'm going to copy and paste that into this assistant. And I'm going to just do that. And we're going to name this one, again, 2025 Business Planning Assistant. Now, when you are choosing the models to work from, you're only going to be able to choose 4.0 for the assistance interface at the moment, even if you can use the O1 model in the other parts of this bit of OpenAI. I will almost always turn down the temperature to about 0.6 if I'm wanting it to be creative, but to stay sort of relatively close to the information that I've given it. The lower the temperature, the more predictable it's going to be. It's going to be less random, less creative. So as far as future facing stuff is concerned, 0.6 tends to work, but you might want to try it with 0.5 as well. You can give it a try with both and see what kind of results you get out of it. So what you'll notice is that we've set this up and we now have a URL, which again, we could bookmark this and use this, but we are not going to get an initial prompt response from this tool, because we've set up the assistant by putting the prompt in here. And then in the thread itself, if we wanted it to do this task here that GPT has just done straight away, we're just going to ask it to create a strategic roadmap. So that has provided it for us already, but let's say create a strategic roadmap broken down into actionable steps and milestones. And when we hit run, this is adding the prompt to the thread, and then we can see that we are now getting this breakdown, and it is less comprehensive than the one that we had over here, mainly because of the difference in the OpenAI model that we're using. So that's O1 and this one is 4.0. So you'll always find that if you're using different language models or versions of language models, the formatting tends to be quite different when you're asking it to do different tasks. So this would then allow you to interact with it regularly. Each thread is a new conversation, but this information is always going to stay there, so you can, really make the most out of getting support that you need. The benefit of this is that you can change the information in the system instructions. So if you had a team member added to your team or removed from your team, or if your goals were updated, or if you wanted to edit the key dates or anything like that, you can really easily do that in the system instructions. Whereas if you wanted to make substantial changes like that in your ChatGPT conversation, you would need to start a new conversation thread in order to reset that context and be able to give it that information. Now, you can update it just as part of the conversation, but if you wanted to fundamentally change anything, then that's how you would handle that. So we're at 26 minutes past the hour, and I have done a big old chit chat with you about all things, focused around the project planning and business strategy. So hopefully this is helpful for you and gives you some ideas for how you could potentially use it. If you have any specific questions or follow-ups that you would like to see that use this tool in terms of the practical outputs and so on, then do let me know. I'm happy to record a little follow-up Loom video and put it over in the AI free source library along with the prompt template. So more than happy to do that. But it's really just to give you some inspiration for how you can get some practical implementation-based support when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you've got goals that feel really big and you're just wanting to get things broken down and kind of act as a support for your projects as you're moving forwards. So if you do have any other questions or anything like that, like I said, feel free to add them in the comments, and otherwise I'll be back next Wednesday for another Workflow Wednesday, and we'll maybe look at the ideas log there if you're interested in it, because that is quite a fun one in terms of taking any kind of random idea that you have for your business. You can just jot it down into a Google form, and then you can get AI to provide you with a sort of SWOT analysis and some next steps, and whether or not it should be a high or low priority for your business. So we can look at that more next week perhaps. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope that this has given you some automation inspiration. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon.